everyone. Welcome back to a different side of the inside. I'm here. It's me, Deborah, along with Lonnie. And today we're going to continue our conversation about emotions. Last time we talked about emotions and how we deal with certain emotions and what have you. Today we're going to talk about how we deal with loss, how we deal with when something happens, a family member or some other kind of loss, regardless of what kind of loss it is. We're going to deal with the emotional part of it. Okay, Lonnie, you can say hello
Yes.
to the people, and then we're going to get started.
So, people, we got everybody tuning back in. Listen to it, man. It's some good stuff that we talk about. Some people disagree with it, but overall, you still should listen to get to understand everything from an objective point of view, meaning from all sides. So I'm always happy and elated to have listeners. So thank you.
All right. So we're going to deal with it. We had a conversation the other day, and we were talking about loss and how you dealt with it at a young age, and when it was one of your friends that died, that got killed. And so, talk a little bit about that and how it made you feel. What was this was your best friend at the time. Talk about how old you were, and that kind of stuff. So
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
His name was White, and we were in placement together, in the early '90s, and he was a year older than I was, so I was about 14, so he was 15, and we started hanging out on the streets once we left placement, and I became like good friends with him, and his sister named Rhonda, and uh, he had a niece, which was his sister's daughter named Dorothy, and both of our mothers' name was Dorothy, and it was me and him. We just ran around like we owned everything, and we were really really tight, and we never really looked at anything that was like acquaintances. So we just went around with everything that we were doing, and we were scattered stuff like that. But it was in '93. And that was one of the hardest times in my life. And the only person in the family that really knew him that way was my sister Mary. She was there to console me, really. She really, really, consoled me. And she knew how much he meant to me. And, I was around his mom and sister and uh, supportive. And they knew that if I could, I would have been with him. But I was at home and he was running the streets and ended up, in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it was the wrong results. I remember not being able to do anything for a couple of days. I was like real stunned. Never told anybody in the family about me and him. I never been around family and stuff like that, so they probably didn't remember anyway. But my sister Mary remembered him, and there was a couple of times that I talked to her. Police were doing, and I didn't know because right after he got killed, they moved to Alabama. But the part of it was devastation. It was devastation. There was a couple other people that I talked to that was replaced me at the time with us, and they couldn't believe it. And a couple of the counselors there couldn't believe it, and it was just a horrible. It just when you're around somebody like on a regular basis, and 30 minutes after you see them for the last time, you learn that they shot and killed. It was just, you couldn't believe it. It was shock, it was sadness, it was anger, resentment, revenge, everything all bundled into one. And, I was the unfortunate person that had the burden of you because his mom didn't want to see me like that. And it was my last image of him was face down on the ground, shot in the back. It was a horrible feeling. It was horrible. I wouldn't even want anybody that I disliked to ever want to have to experience something like that. But the emotions was they were raw. They were. I never forget the moment. Well, not the moment, but I never forget the emotions at that moment. And I just cried on my sister. My sister held me, and I just cried. I cried like a baby. It was a horrible feeling.
And how old were you then?
Yeah, I was 15.
Okay. So that's a lot
Yeah.
at 15.
Okay. So that's a. I think them see. I think he was. I think I was 14. He was 15. Or I was 15. He was 16 because he was born a year before I was.
Okay. So, dealing with the initial shock of all that, now you're at the funeral. So what happened there?
I never looked at him in the casket. So when they opened the casket, I walked out. But when the casket was closed, uh, I sat on the same row as his mother and my brother. She went with me. Uh, sat on the same row as his mother, his niece, and his sister. And
Three-way call alert.
his mom got up and was talking. And like we discussed the other day, that was that I've ever gotten in my life. When she got up there and she was talking about friendship, and she was talking about unconditional love, and she basically was saying, if a person is able to die, saying that they had at least one friend, they should have died a happy person. And she said, because Lonnie was in my son's life, wherever he is, I know that he's happy. And it broke me down. And I cried and came back to the seat and me and her hug, and she just basically told me I meant everything that I said, but they gonna now for the party you. So you want to walk out, you can walk out. So I just walked out, and I was in the hallway, and I felt a sense of pride, but at the same time, the reason for the sense of pride was because of the loss of my best friend at that time. So it was kind of back and forth, and I was just like super emotional. But I was a part. They closed the casket. I went back in and helped them put the casket in the hearse, and we went to the graveyard. But overall, it was that was one of the most pivotal losses in my life at that time, for sure.
For sure. Yeah. Loss is when we lose someone, it's not just how people would say, well, just be thankful that you got to know them and are thankful that they were in your life, or because they want you to have this joy, or they want you to be all right. People sometimes say words or say things and trying to comfort you, but sometimes it really makes it worse. Sometimes um,
Right,
my mom taught us to, if you don't know what to say, just don't say anything. Just be there to
right,
hear or listen to people. Just sit there if that's all you can do. And I
right,
understand loss. I lost my mom in 2017, and I took care of
right.
her for over 10 years. And so
Mama did.
it was a horrible experience when when she was gone. When she, and I've had people tell me, well, your mom lived to be 89 years, a long life. Some people don't even get that.
Right.
Well, that really didn't make me feel better. I do understand what you're
Right.
saying, but it didn't make me feel better, you know,
Right.
because it's a thing. And then you don't just get over it overnight. And sometimes it seems like, say, are you still
This
grieving?
call and your telephone
That's
number will
been
be
5 years
monitored and
ago, or that's
recorded.
been this, or whatever. Because there's in my
Right.
life that when I'm going through something, lately, that's when I miss my mom the most. When I'm going through something, because
Mm-hmm.
well, she will always know what I was going through, or if I was going through something. She may not know the whole, the scenario behind it, but she knew something was wrong, and she would
Right.
always grab my hand and say, "Deborah, come here." Even when she had dementia,
Right.
she would, the dementia just it's a memory thing. It has nothing to do with your connection and bond with people. And she was just say,
Right.
"Come here, let me pray for you. I don't know what's happening, but let me pray. You want to talk about it or whatever."
Right.
So those times in my
Again,
life when things are happening and she's not here to do that, it really affects me. I don't share it with a lot of people. I don't even talk about it with most. I can hear my
I
echo,
can hear,
Lonnie.
my echo.
um,
Um,
so it's like we deal with loss in different ways. There's no one way or the right way to deal with it. So since you now that
right.
happened when you were out and you were 15 years old, 14, 15 years old, um,
Yeah.
but you experienced a loss before that time as a younger person. Your dad and your mom, both grandparents by the age of 11. So now you're incarcerated, and you're still dealing with loss. Though other people are still dying in your life. So tell me what happens when you're incarcerated. You're in prison, and now you're suffering the loss of loved one. How do you handle
Right.
that? Is it different or the same, or
No,
just
no.
give me a little
It's not,
feedback on that?
it's not the same at all. And as a matter of fact, it's more added stress to it, because, the people that's still around in the family, you can't be there physically and emotionally and mentally for them, but, the news of the loss is just debilitating. It stops your entire world. And you kind of, you want to consider yourself strong. And of course, there's times where you need other people to be there for you to kind of assist you in getting through what you need to get through. And the process of grieving has that, and of course, being in prison, you don't have that. Prison is a place where, the work is always tough. So,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
when you're dealing with those kind of things, you have to have an inner strength. It's unmatched, and everything just kind of coming together at one time. It's just like opening the floodgates and the letting breaks, emotionally and mentally. So you don't really know how to navigate initially until you start talking to a lot of other people and other members of the family and people that never been lost to you. So, hey, before I go hang up, so I'm gonna just call back real quick and then continue.
Okay. Okay, so Lonnie's back, so you can continue where you left off.
Um, as I was saying, it's the floodgates of a lot of different emotions open up, in your mind and your heart and your body. And, it's not just the loss of the person that you love, it's also the loss of the person that you love of other people.